Well, hello there. It's been a couple of years. I basically stopped this vlog when we started COVID, or when COVID started, I should say, because meetings were inconsistent and I don't like doing things inconsistently. So I think we should call this season 2, post-COVID vlogging. I am in Herzliya and I decided to start this vlog again today because I have some truly incredible, and I mean really incredible meetings. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that later because I just want to make sure that they allow me to interview them, but it's going to be pretty epic and I am so excited to be vlogging again. Truth be told, I think the catalyst, the trigger, was getting an email yesterday from a friend of mine named Suzanne in Ireland telling me to start the vlog again. And hearing that someone in Ireland watches all my vlogs, it's just like, all right, I got to do this thing again. So I'm starting again, hopefully daily, and this is going to be exciting. Waited a long time for this. Here we go. Ferrari dealership in Herzliya. I stop here every time I come to Herzliya because a man can dream. You know, jokes aside, I've spoken about this many times in the past. I'm not driven by money at all, but I definitely hope to own a Ferrari one day. In any case, maybe they'll be opening soon and I'll just ask them if I could film. They might say no. And then my first meeting is about a half hour. Wow, I'm so excited to be vlogging again. It has been so freaking long. All right, let's do this. Alrighty, I got a big green light from the Ferrari dealership to show you some of the most beautiful vehicles I have ever seen. Check this place out. I look pretty good in that. What do you think? A little less pretty is the price. Sit down for this one. 2.4 million shekel. That's about $800,000. Yeah, so there's that. So pretty, so pretty. Heading now, before my first meeting, to another dealership here in Herzliya, which is like the headquarters of all the supercars and hypercars in Israel. Not sure if they'll let me in, but there's another dealership around here that is drool-worthy. Anyway, as I'm on the way, let's talk about how much has changed in this world since the last time I used this camera. A global pandemic, a war in Ukraine. Yesterday, or 2 days ago, we had a ceasefire here in Israel, a mini war or an operation. That's just the last couple of months. But wow, it's been a couple of years. It's been a crazy couple of years here on planet Earth. But anyway, really excited to be back vlogging. Hope I can do it on a daily basis. And I hope I get to show you some of these cars right now. You know, people are scared of cameras. It's very funny because this records in 4K, so does my iPhone. But when they see a big camera, they get scared. So we shall see what they say. They let me in. So we got a BMW, yes, it's an M5. Let's check that out, I'm not sure. BMW X5, probably fully electric BMW. But next to it is the real gem. You ready for this? A McLaren 720. Wow, this is beautiful. All right, enough dreaming for this morning. I love McLarens. Anyway, heading now to my first meeting. The guy I'm meeting, his name is Amit, and he is probably the most under the radar, like, rock star in the tech world. He'll tell you more, but basically he's a massive investor, partner, entrepreneur, CEO of several companies, and this is kind of his outing to the world. I asked him, he asked me to interview him and to kind of tell the world a little bit more about his work just because he's been under the radar for all these years, so that should be super duper exciting. Pumped to meet him and to introduce him to you because he is incredible. Oh wow, it's sunny. All right, starting my day at the Ackerstein Towers in Herzliya, where basically all the top tech companies and VCs are located. It's a beautiful place and it's a beautiful day. Check this out. New office for Zoomed. They literally are moving into this office today. This is, I guess, the first time anybody has come into this office and let alone recorded and interviewed Amit, because the dude does not do interviews. Very excited, but this is a beautiful office. Check this out. I'm very excited because, as I told you, this is my first interview back post-COVID, and literally, if I had to choose one person to interview post-COVID, it would be this good-looking guy next to me. But before I do that, I just have to say one thing. You know, in the world of journalism, every journalist wants to find the scoop, right? To come out with an article that no one else has come out with. Personally, I mean, this is a whole discussion I can have a different time, but I don't even get the fascination with a scoop. Like, oftentimes TechCrunch will be like, no, this other publication wrote it, we're not writing. And I'm like, it's news. Like, what? Again, different discussion. Why am I telling you this? Because what I'm about to show you right now is basically a scoop. Because I'm sitting next to Amit here, who is, and he'll tell you more, we'll learn about this guy, but there's no one like him. Period. There's no one like him, not in Israel, not anywhere. I often say that I have professional ADHD, and I have a lot of companies that I work with. I'm like child's play next to this guy. So let's just start from the beginning. You're about to meet someone super duper fascinating from the beginning. Who are you? What's your name?
My name is Amit Bohensky.
Amit Bohensky. First of all, shout out to Karen Shemesh who introduced us. I love Karen Shemesh, she's amazing, but I am kind of angry at her that she took like 10 years to introduce us. She didn't introduce us 10 years ago, but okay, whatever. All right, Amit Bohensky, give me your elevator pitch, 30 seconds. Who is Amit Bohensky?
A geek for technology, a person that like to connect between the dots. I like the challenges, the hard companies, the hard efforts, the things that doesn't work. This is where I like to go in.
So you come into a company when, I'm not going to say they're failing, but when they're struggling, and you take over the company in a good way as CEO, and you have turned companies around, and I'm talking not one, two, like how many companies, just off the top of your head right now, how many companies are you actively involved in right now? In one way or another, chairman, CEO, investor, whatever.
30.
30 companies! I'm like, I have 7, and I'm like, 30 companies. Okay, where are we sitting right now?
We are sitting in the offices of Zoomed.
What is Zoomed?
Zoomed is a marketing company that handles the budgets for clients to spend their budgets in the right way for user acquisition.
I love that. Wow. I'm sure about 100 times a day you guys say Zoomed. You're like, Zoom? You're like, no, Zoomed, right?
Let me tell you the origin of the name. So when I started this company about 9 years ago, 8 years ago, I wanted the domain Zoom ED, but it was taken. So I bought Zoomd and I put an apostrophe. Nice. Somewhere around the years, the apostrophe went away, and it became Zoomd.
Love it, love it. So give me, and you know, I know obviously not all information is public, but just give me, just so I understand how big this company is. What was the last declared valuation? Just give me how many people work here, and this is the first day in an office, right? Brand new office.
Yes, it's a brand new office. We have several locations in Europe, in Latin America, and APAC as well. Here in Israel is roughly around 100 employees, altogether 115, 120 employees. The company manages budgets of tens and tens of millions in revenues. Our latest guidelines is around $80 million for this year.
Wow. Okay. I want to talk about another company. And again, you said you have 30, so we could talk about this all day, but I want to talk about another specific company. Bigger picture. Okay? Now, before we get into it, I've said this a million times, but I'm going to keep saying it, okay? Every company that won in the tech world has done the same exact thing, right? Uber used technology to disrupt transportation. Airbnb used technology to disrupt hospitality. Facebook / Twitter / all the social media platforms used technology to disrupt communication. Lemonade used technology to disrupt insurance. Bigger Picture is doing the same thing in a space that is begging for disruption forever. And it is mind-blowing to me that this space has not been disrupted. What is Bigger Picture?
The vision of Bigger Picture is to change the user experience for any type of venues. So take a football game, take a soccer game, basketball, concert, cinemas, theaters. When you go to those places and you buy a ticket, the user experience is lame, is old. When you buy food, it's not connected to your seating place. When you do your planning for that particular day, it doesn't look at you as a whole person who's been there before. And we want to disrupt the way that the experience changes for the customer.
So, I mean, take movie theaters as an example, right? And again, it's any venue, but just take either movie theaters or take concerts, right? Yeah, there's online ordering of the tickets, but like, where does technology play a role here? I mean, when I order a ticket, does the movie theater or the venue know that it's me? Do they have any personalized information on me? No. The purchasing, the arrivals, the whole experience from beginning to end is basically the same as it's always been. Like, forever.
All the venues technologies are very obsolete. They are on-premise and they don't do any type of segmentation. They don't look at audiences. And because of that, it's very hard to make some type of prediction. What will be in the next concert? What if I'm sitting in a chair, I want to order the shirt of Billy Joel without standing in line? Can I do it pre-event, in the event? Can I do it later the event? Can you remember when the event finishes and I want to do something next? Can somebody advise me on the geographical polygon where is the next place that I can hang out when the concert is done?
Amazing.
All those things are a combination of data aggregation.
That's the magic word, right? I was going to say, out of everything you just said, the thing that's most interesting to me is the data, right? So like you said, I'm in a movie theater. Does the movie theater know that I'm at the movie theater? Can they take that data and then use it for their next,
Think about the most simple thing. When you buy food in the theater, they don't know it's you. So there is a disconnection, which is the most simple thing between the food that you eat and buy and where you're sitting. And actually where you're sitting might be, if you can think about it, your table as well. And if you booked online, then we know it's you. Then what is the problem to treat it as a regular e-commerce business as the other bigger companies are doing for that? So the entire idea is changing the user experience.
Love it. Just, again, give me some high-level numbers here. How big is Bigger Picture, and who are some of their partners most exciting?
Among our clients, you can find Ticketmaster, you can find Cineworld, you can find Cinepolis. So Ticketmaster is the biggest selling ticketing in the world. Cineworld is the second largest ticketing cinema in the world. More than 500 cinemas all around the world. Cinepolis is the biggest one in Latin America, and so on and so on.
Amazing. Okay, so those are just two examples, right? Just two examples of 30 companies you're involved in. We could talk about all the companies, but that would take all day. So let's talk about Amit a little bit, all right? So, you said you're involved in 30 companies. Just to be clear, you wear a lot of different hats, right? You're an investor, you are an entrepreneur, you are a CEO, right? You're a founder. You wear a lot of different hats. What would you say excites you most? Like, what do you love doing most?
The most is creation.
Starting a company?
Yeah, it's the challenge of making it happen, finding the market fit, understanding that you are changing something, digitizing something from one point to another point. That's what makes me tick. Usually when a company reaches to a growth stage, this is where I get bored.
I love it. I love that you say get bored. I completely relate to that. That's amazing. Okay. So give me your kind of 2-minute background, how this all began, what you've done till today, and then a little bit on kind of where you see Amit going in the next 5 years.
I'm a tech geek from long ago, so I've been programming on Commodore 64. I used to be the guy that when I was 13 years old, that people would come from all around the country to exchange games from that place. And then later on, I had a BBS. It used to be before the internet, when you had your own landline and people can download from your home the games and stuff that you were collecting. Then it evolved to more and more developing software and business development. And then I started to build my own companies. One of my companies was an IT company. We just did project management and I sold it to Matrix. Then I've done a cyber company and I've sold it to Verint. And then I made Zoomed, which went public. And then it started to go on and on and on.
So what I'm hearing is that everything you touch turns to gold. But let there be no mistake, the man is working super duper hard, and unlike many, investors or maybe even a founder that left the company, you're not like hands off. You're very hands on, right? You're very much managing the company, and again, obviously you have 30 companies and you have 24 hours in the day, so you can't do everything, but you are very hands on as an investor, correct?
Yes. First of all, in some of the companies, when I'm involved, it's only in a matter of an advice. But in the companies, when they are in the stage of growing them and finding the market fit, I'm involved. We are thinking strategically where we can find the right connections, how we can build a real roadmap, a real business operation, what are the relevant talents that we should bring to the company and how to shape it. The first steps are the most important steps.
Love it. You forgot the most important thing. I'm very disappointed. When I asked you who you are, the first thing you should have said is a sneakerhead, right? We share the love for sneakers. Here, check out our sneakers. I got the Jordan 1s, and what is that anyway? Those are nice.
It's a Nike, and I took it for my son. He's in the army. He's the same size as mine.
I love it. Every time I come here to meet Amit, this is the third time we're meeting?
Yes.
Yeah. Every time I come here, he's wearing another pair of cool sneakers, so that's super cool. But, jokes aside, I do love that, you're not by any means old, but we're getting a little older, and the fact that we're still into sneakers, I like that we have still have our child excitement about this stuff. Any case, Amit, this is super duper awesome. I really hope, as I've told you many times, that we can figure out a way to work together so I could learn from you, mostly. What you're doing is incredible. And if somebody wants to be in touch with you, whether it's as an investor or a partner or whatever, somebody wants to get to, bigger picture and see if they can partner with them, what is the best way to reach out to Amit Bohensky?
It's very easy to reach me by an email or by LinkedIn. I also believe in spread the bread, so I like to help and I like to give a good advice. People come here on a daily basis, can ask me, can you tell us who is the right investor, who is the right customer, do you know that CMO, that CIO? I do that. I like to help everyone that comes here to talk, to give my own opinion, and I'll do that in anyone that will approach me.
I love it. Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I like doing that too.
Yeah.
Okay, so LinkedIn's the best way to reach out.
Yes.
All right, Joseph, put his LinkedIn right there. Right there. Follow the dude. He is a rock star. I am super duper honored, honestly, to be able to interview you, because I know you've been under the radar till now. Like, you have not done any interviews, barely any kind of footprint on the internet about you. Kind of head down, and I kind of said to you last time we met, I'm like, Amit, it's time. It's time. You know what? Not even he doesn't want to be like, he's modest, and that's fine. But as a founder, as an investor, it helps the companies when people hear of Amit Bohensky. So I think it's a very important mission. In addition to everything that you're doing, founding companies, running companies, investing in everything you're doing, what is the thing that you go home at night and you're most passionate about?
I think that we should contribute back to our country and volunteer and give some back. So accept donations, which usually is not going public anywhere. I'm leading as a chairman of the Friends Association, the lead non-profit association.
What's the website?
LEAD, that's their name.
LEAD?
Yes.
Okay, what do they do?
It's a great association that takes the best of the students in the high schools, but this time the best, and helps them one time to do something good for the country. So you can see a lot of other non-profit that are being created. It's like a generator of non-profit. So there's like 200 non-profits that have been created out of LEAD.
Oh, wow. So it's like an incubator for non-profits.
Yes. So we mentor them. We help them to think about a topic that they like. It related to newcomers. It related to other issues that are social problems, poverty, and whatever. They are only 17. They are just before the army. Their life is ahead of them, and they're going to be successful, because we talk about the ones that will be pilots soon, something like that.
Right.
And we put some Torah inside them.
Love that.
We put some sense in them that you should do also good stuff as well.
Love it.
And I'm happy to be involved in that
That's
non-profit.
amazing. Is it LEAD COIL? Do you know the website by heart?
I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. I'll share it here. Joseph, put the website here. But basically, if I understand correctly, you're taking the cream of the crop in high school and saying, all right, before you go to the 8,200 units and then become a pilot, let's do something good for society. And you basically incubate these people to create social good organizations.
Yes,
correct?
exactly.
Amazing.
There's a lot of mentors, very known people in our industry that are involved as mentors and help. A 60-second advice to a child like that. It's not a child, it's 17. But telling him to do something a little bit good, it's a little bit bringing good to the country where we are.
I love it. Let me just ask you one last question. How many hours in a day do you have? Because I have 24, and what you're doing, and people say to me all the time, Hillel, how do you do so much? What you're doing is crazy. How do you find so much time?
I wish we can find that company that generate more time.
Yeah. But you're really doing, listen, I guess that we have that in common in terms of optimizing your time, not wasting time. I'm a big believer in that.
I think I finally found the energetic guy, same as mine.
There you go. I'll take it. All right. I'm honored to have been the first one to interview you. And anything that I could do now or in the future with any of your companies or you or anything, let me know. And Karen, you're the best. Thank you so much for introducing us.
Thank you, Karen.
Thanks,
we love you.
Thank you. Okay, all right. Listen, you guys have been watching me for years. You know who I've interviewed. You know I've done some crazy interviews. But I am going to go out on a limb and say this is in the top five. The top five. Who are you? Because I feel like any word that I say is just going to be, who are you? What's your name?
My name is Bruce Pearl. Mordechai Shmuel is actually my name, and I'm the Auburn men's basketball coach in Auburn, Alabama.
Let's just give some context here. I mean, you guys, you're not just a basketball coach. You guys are killing it on all fronts. Right? Give me some stats about the team.
Last year, my team was the #1 team in the country. For about a month, we were the best team in college basketball. In 2019, I was the 5th Jewish coach in the history of NCAA basketball to take their team to the Final Four. And I'm humbled and I'm blessed, and it's wonderful to meet you and to be with you.
It's an honor for me, honestly. And I'm sorry you got to make this happen. It's very spontaneous. I'm sure you're super busy. But before we get in, just give me Give me 2 words on YU. What do you think about YU, Shiva University basketball?
Oh man, they were awesome. Elliot Steinmetz is their coach. He's an outstanding coach.
Yeah.
They had one of those kids was almost maybe a pro, right?
Maybe he will be.
Maybe not as good as Tamir Goodman, the Jewish Jordan, but we'll see. And I'm very proud of those kids. They had an amazing year. It caught on throughout the United States. And one of the best teams in Division III.
Just to hear the words Yeshiva University being the top, it was just like, what?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. All right, so first of all, I'd love to hear your background because I follow you online. You're all over the place. I mean, there was a story you went on what happened with Tim Cook? You went on the field, you took a picture.
Yeah.
Something like on the court. What?
Well, Tim is an Auburn graduate, and of course he's kind of running Apple right now.
Right.
And he's passionate and he's very generous, and he and I are different, but we both have a love for Auburn, and he's wicked smarter than I am.
Are you guys actually like friends?
No, I mean I could call him and we could kibitz a little bit, but we both love Auburn. He appreciates what Auburn did for him as a university, get him started.
It's incredible. It's really incredible. By the way, offline, I'm going to say to you, we got to figure out a way for me to interview that guy because whatever, not for now. Anyway, all right. So so the Auburn team is just like top notch. What are you guys doing in Israel?
You know what? It's sort of like a birthright for college basketball. It's not birthright because birthright's for Jewish kids, but the idea is, I work in the evangelical Christian community in the South, because most of our fans are evangelical Christians. Thank God for their support and their love of Israel and the love of Jesus. And then the other area I work in is in the black community, because 90% of the kids I coach are black. So the idea is I'm trying to influence those that don't have their mind made up of who we are and what Israel is. The ones that hate us, they're going to hate us. There's nothing we can do about it. Nothing we can do about it, nor should we. Don't worry about it. So my kids are going to be faced with it on a college campus. Somebody's going to say something about Israel that's going to be anti-Semitic, or something they saw in a meeting. Go, well, no, that's not right. I was there. That's not true. Right. It's not true. And you can't tell them to say that. They got to see it for themselves. Experience it. And that's my deal. Bringing teams over every year in college basketball to create more allies for us.
I got to tell you, I spoke last night to a couple of senators from Ohio, and I literally gave the whole talk on tech, my whole spiel, inspired them. Some of them had tears in their eyes, which I loved. But at the end, I said to them, guys, listen, if I could ask you for a favor, you're going back there. And I know that you guys, when you told people coming to Israel, I'm sure the responses were, oh my God, are you crazy? You guys, I said to them, you guys came in a week of an actual military operation. There were actually rockets raining down on us, and do you feel unsafe? They're like, no. I'm like, because it's not true what you hear about Israel. And so I said to them, if you can go back and spread the gospel, spread the word about how amazing this place is, that would be tremendous. They all were like, yeah, absolutely. Because again, people think of Israel, they have this 1%, then they come in and they're like, what? Like big camels, right? They're like, right. There's a Bentley dealership outside. I love cars. I just went to the McLaren and the Ferrari dealership down the block. You into cars?
Well, my dream car was a Bentley convertible.
Continental?
It's got the convertible, and I bought one. I bought it in 2000. It's a 2012 with 20,000 miles on it. It's my dream car. It's gorgeous.
So there's an investor who's actually on the Israeli Shark Tank named Dovi Francis, and I'm in Tel Aviv one day a couple of years ago. I take a picture of a Bentley, and I did my thing. I just posted whatever. He immediately sends me a message. He goes, "You like Bentleys?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "All right, I'm flying you into California. You take my Bentley for the week." He gave me his Bentley Continental GT for the week. I was like, I love Bentleys.
That's crazy. That's my favorite car. I love it. I just got it about a year ago.
Dealership right outside, by the way, across the street. Don't tempt me. Anyway, so all right, so there's a basketball coach. There's the Israel lover. Tell me a little bit about Bruce the person, like kids, married. What talking about?
Well, I'm married. I've got a second marriage. A beautiful woman that has brought me closer to the Bible. A Christian girl that wants to celebrate Passover now, not Easter, because Jesus celebrated Passover every year of his life. 4 kids, 4 beautiful kids. My son is assistant coach on my team. My youngest son is a cook and manages a kitchen. I've got a daughter that runs a nonprofit that's with me here in Israel now, and I've got another daughter that works for Turner, works with Charles Barkley every day, right? Not to drop names.
Wow.
And she's got 2 amazing, gorgeous grandchildren, and she married an amazing man. So
beautiful.
Got a great family.
I feel like Charles Barkley's got to be one of the most interesting players to ever play in the NBA. I just feel like he's got this attitude to him. I don't know, whatever.
I'll tell you, he's coming to Israel.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. His daughter married a Jewish man. They just had a baby, so he's got a grandson. We didn't do the horror with him because there was no way we're getting 350 pounds, and I don't care how good the music was. There was no way we're lifting that chair. And he's got a love for Israel also, because obviously his daughter is. He always has, because as an NBA player, half the owners are Jewish. And so they open the doors for a lot of these players, and a lot of them are still very grateful.
Who do I have to talk to get a meeting with Charles Barkley when he comes to Israel?
Done.
We're gonna make this happen.
It's done, Hillel.
All right, listen, man. Again, super duper honored to meet you, and I'm very excited because, like me, you wear a lot of different hats. You also have the love for business and technology. I happen to have access. I cannot wait to connect you to some of the leading tech sports. By the way, not only sports tech, not only sports tech, but general, entertainment companies. Yep. And I don't know. Are you into food? Are you a foodie?
Big time.
Okay, so
look at me. You give me built like this, and I'll be a foodie.
Let me tell you something you've never heard before. You ready for this? After the United States, in absolute numbers, not per capita, absolute numbers, the Israeli food tech industry or ecosystem is the biggest in the world after the United States.
At Auburn University, we have a culinary school, brand new school. We need to get together and tie some of that together so that we can do some connect our students so they can come over and train. Your students can come over and train. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And I just want to say that, to our Jewish brothers and sisters that are here, you're not alone. You're not alone, okay? Israel is the United States of America's greatest ally. You're our greatest ally. Not just that America is Israel's greatest ally. It works both ways.
Wow.
And together, we got to continue to change the world.
I got to tell you something. You won't believe me, but I don't believe in coincidences. I really don't. There's a reason we're meeting now, because about 10 minutes ago, I can show you my Facebook. I'm not kidding. Yesterday, I posted a whole post about why I think what happened this week with the bombs and the rockets was pure miracles. 1,000 rockets, not one person seriously injured.
Right.
That's a miracle. And somebody literally 10 minutes ago wrote on my Facebook, it's not God, it's America funding you, meaning the Iron Dome. And I wrote to him, I'm like, dude, if you think this is a one-way relationship, you are sorely mistaken.
So when I go back home, I'm going to have a different message. I was on the beach of Tel Aviv, and I could see the Iron Dome at work. And yes, there are Americans, and you can understand with the economy, everybody's economy is being challenged right now. Go, why are we spending all that money funding the Iron Dome and asking, those questions? We got problems here at home. And the answer, there were a lot of Americans here, myself included, that were on the beach of Tel Aviv that was protected by the Iron Dome. My tax dollars were at work here in Israel. And the second thing, as we all know, Hillel, that thing saves lives. Jews and Arabs here in Israel, but it's the saving lives of every Gazan, because if those rockets had landed and killed too many people, things would be different in Gaza.
Right.
We wouldn't be putting up with it.
100%. Well said. Listen, I could talk to you about this and other things for hours. I want to talk off camera a little bit before you got to go and before I got to go. But honestly, I'm incredibly privileged and honored, both on a personal level, but also on a national level, to have you here and supporting Israel. As sorry for saying this, the celebrity that you are, because you are a celebrity by any standards. And so, goes without saying, if there's ever anything that I can do to help you in any capacity with anything, let me know. And as far as Israel, if anybody that is coming to Israel and wants a kind of little tech tour, meeting the coolest companies here, just give me a week heads up. Seriously.
Done.
A whole road show. I mean it.
I'm Yisrael Chai.
I'm Yisrael Chai. I love it, brother. Awesome.